Well, good afternoon, New Heart Church family. Pastor Matt with you on this Tuesday, the 31st day of January, the last day of January. 2023 is 1 month old. Time flies when you're having fun, doesn't it? So I like to do a lot of reading, as you obviously know, over the years. I just finished a little bit of a book called The Always God, written by Jared Stevens. In the preface to the book, Sheila Walsh, a very well-known gospel entertainer, writes this. She says, "The word always is interesting. It gets its meaning from what we attach to it. It can bear great news such as the food here is always amazing, or it can also lower our expectations by things like, well, the service is always slow here. When attached to faith in God, however, it raises as many questions as it answers. You may have faced some of these," she writes. "I believe that God is always present, so why do I feel alone? I believe that God is always working for my good, so why didn't I get that job? I believe that God always answers prayer, so why does heaven seem silent? These kind of questions can shake us to the core." Yeah, she's right. We often struggle to reconcile two things that we believe to be true, that God is all loving and God is all powerful. But if that's the case, then why, and fill in the blank for whatever is applicable to your particular situation. Honestly, in 30 plus years of ministry, I can't say that I always have the answers to those questions. Sometimes I do. For instance, the answer may be because there's sin present that God wishes us to confess and abandon before he will act in our lives. Sometimes the answer is that we've brought the consequences upon ourselves, always knowing that they were possible, but choosing to ignore them anyway. And sometimes the answer is that it is the result of attacks of the enemy upon our souls, accomplished through the hands of others whom we may have loved or trusted. However, sometimes I just have to say, I don't know. Much like the Apostle Paul, I confess that I'm only seeing through darkened glass. So my understanding and my perspective are at best unclear and possibly even indiscernible. However, like Paul, I do believe that one day I will see more clearly and understand much better than I do today. So where does that leave me in the midst of my lack of understanding about the whys of this life? Well, I trust in the always God. As Jared writes in his book, God is always present, always aware, and always working. And in those things, we can place our hope and our trust and our faith. He's promised that he will not abandon us in our time of need. Jesus said he would be with us to the end of the age. He will not fail to provide for us. His strength is made perfect in our weakness. Paul says that he is an ever-present counselor and guide. And he knows what's happening in your life. He understands that it hurts. He wants to heal that pain. He wants to restore your well-being. He wants to lift you up. That's the desire of his heart. And God is always working. Admittedly, it's hard to see him working all the time, but if we know the first two things are true, that God is always present, God is always aware, then we can trust in this last one, that God is always at work. And we know, because Scripture tells us, that he desires to work through all things for our good and for his good purposes. An old hymn we used to sing says, "I care not today what the morrow may bring, if sunshine or shadow or rain. The Lord I know rules over everything, and all of my worry is vain. Living by faith in Jesus above, trusting, confiding in his great love, safe from all harm in his sheltering arm. I'm living by faith, and I feel no alarm." Knowing that he is the always God means we can always be living by faith. God bless you today. We'll have our Zoom prayer meeting tomorrow night at 6:30. If you'd like to be a part of that, send us an email at newheartnazarene@gmail.com. I'll be back on Thursday with another video devotional for you. And then Sunday, we'll get together for the final sermon in my series on redeeming the time. So God bless you. Have a great day, everybody. I look forward to seeing you then. Bye.